Hi guys, today I wanted to share with you my entry for the Nik the Booksmith Deserted Island challenge. So the challenge was to make a book or a journal from very few items. Nik gave us 4 givens that we could use, and then we could also choose 4 more of our own choice, with some restrictions obviously on what those were. But so one of Nik's was the adhesive, so I chose Beacon 3-in-1. Also a needle and thread, so I chose this with a reasonably long needle and a pointy end so that I could easily make the signature, use that rather than a piercing tool to pierce through to sew through the signatures. Some scissors or a craft knife, and some form of paper. Now it couldn't be a decorative paper, it couldn't be like scrapbooking paper or whatever, but and it also had to be the same, so you couldn't have some graph paper, some squared paper, and then some tea dyed or whatever. So I chose to use tea stained paper for mine, and then my choices were Distress Oxide Vintage Photo Ink Pad, and we're allowed to have the applicator with it, so that counted as 1. A small piece of cheesecloth that I used for the spine, fabric, which I have used just a small piece, so instead of using 12x12 cardstock, which was another thing we could have used, just 1 sheet, I've chosen to use a piece of fabric approximately the same size as that. And then I think and the gutted book cover was also my choice, so this was also my choice, the gutted book cover. So I'll show you what I've done. So first of all, I used a strip of the fabric that was left over after I'd lined the inside of the book, and I have just made a kind of like a paper bead out of one of the strips off of the tea stained pages that I was using, and we'll just take that out. Then, and I've just cut a hole this side so that it slits through, and then the book. So I've done 3 signatures, and as you can see I've used the cheesecloth here, and they're so it's a hidden binding effectively, so I've not sewn through the spine. The book is I think it's about 7 inches by a bit under 5 inches, I think it was. So this is where I've used the fabric. So I've got a piece in the front and then a piece on the back. And then the pages are all tea stained. I think I had 6 pages in each signature, so folded over, so that's obviously 12. Then here I've used every little scrap up that I had. So I've got a little piece of the fabric here that was left over and a piece of the cheesecloth, and that's then a pocket. Then we've got a tag here, and to make the tag what I've done is use the lid of the ink pad, and then just dipped it in the ink and then made the lines. And then this is a little tiny piece of fabric there, and then the paper itself, the tea stain paper itself, I've actually just glued 2 sheets together to make it a bit more firm to make a tag. And there's kind of a little pocket here. Again, I've used the ink pad lid there. This is all tea stain paper. Another tag done the same way. Actually, I think that is literally just 1 sheet of paper, that one. These little circles are from the lid of the adhesive, so from the base of the lid, and I've just dipped that into the ink. A piece of fabric that was left over from the corner, and that's just a flip, again using the scraps and the offcuts. It's just a folded in piece there, so something could be attached. And then more plain. I've done it, I didn't want to actually add too much more to the pages because I did want to actually use it to journal in. Another tuck spot here, and another tuck spot or a little pocket there. And again there's I think that's a little pocket, and again the same thing. I've kind of just mitered the corner and glued it down, and then used it can be used as a pocket. A little pocket here, another piece of little fabric and a little of fabric and a pocket. Again, I've used the top of the glue to make the patterns. Same thing, a tuck spot there, and another little pocket here with another tag in it, and then more tea stained paper, another little pocket, and the centre of the signature there, more tea stained paper, another pocket here. I think I used up every single scrap of the cheesecloth and the fabric. I did end up still with some strips off the ends of the tea stain paper, but then I think I might still use those in it when I come to use it. Little tuck spot there. I did choose as well, I only used the scissors to cut the fabric. I didn't use the scissors to cut any of the pages. I literally just folded them and tore them. I just used one first of all to make a bit of a template so I knew what size I wanted, because of course we can't use any measuring tools. So and then once I got the one size, I just used that as a template. It's a little tuck spot there, and this is just a little notebook made from the tea stain paper again, and then a pocket, and it's a little belly band made from the strips from the side of the paper that I tore off, and there's a little pocket with a tag inside it. And then I think there's another, yes, another pocket here, the same, and then here another one, and here I cut a piece of thread off to sew the signatures in, and I had a little bit left, so I just inked it using the Distress Oxide ink, and then just made a decorative piece on there, and then again used the lid here for the lines, and then a pocket there, and literally just glued some of the strips on there. It's another little notebook just wrapped around with fabric, again from the offcuts of the tea stain paper. Another little tuck spot there, two little mini tuck spots in the corner, another little pocket, and another tag again with the papers glued together. And this was just inked where I'd used the dauber, the applicator, sorry, and inked it, and then I just folded it and just cut a piece out the centre. Again, the top of the glue, another tuck spot here and here, and then lastly on the back page I've done a bit of paper weaving with the strips, because the strips ended up like kind of randomly, or these were coming off the edges of the paper, the length of it, so the height and the width, and then I've just weaved them together and folded it over here so that you've got a bit more give in the pocket, and then that's a pocket. So that is my contribution. I really enjoyed it. It was a real to start with the challenge, because you kind of reach for all the things that you would normally use, like rulers and paper trimmers and stuff, but then you realize you're only using what's on your desk, and actually it's really good. It's really easy to do once you get going, and you also end up using everything up. You don't end up with lots of spares, and I could have carried on and done a lot more in it with the, say, more paper weaving, etc., but all I had left was some paper strips. I had nothing else, no fabric, nothing else left. So thank you, Nick, for this challenge. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.